Hi guys, welcome to my channel, Lighting Your Sunshine, where we like to shine a light within and empower ourselves. So today, there's been like random downloads coming through. I'm not sure if they're going to come through in this reading. I'm open to it if it shows out in the cards, but we'll just come with a blank slate. But we are going to use the Outlaw Oracle, followed by the Citadel cards. And it's mainly because they're like my newest cards. I just want to work with them. But look how similar they are. They're both kind of like red, white, and black. They got that vibe. They both have like little trapdoor openings. And when I put them side by side, they kind of have like the same vibe going on in the pattern. Obviously, the other sides are way different, but I thought, how similar. They're both kind of like times in our past. Like we got the Outlaw, which is all about like the Wild West and kind of like the frontier energy. And then the Citadel is more of that city vibe. I'm seeing like maybe like, really old cities. Mainly I'm seeing more European type vibes kind of coming through, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything. But I wanted to use them two together and just see what story is coming out. It's almost like a kind of like East meets West, when worlds collide kind of energy. City and the country. So the first one to jump out was Heat Wave. It says oppression and exhaustion. It's card number 5. Oh, look how tiny and cute that one little tree is there. And it's just like giving her, it's like, nope, I'm gonna hold on. I'm rooted in this, hoping for rain. So the next one to come out was the Diamondback Rattler with Cold One. So this one's all about speed and primal power with belonging, belief, and sanctuary. Okay, so let's just shuffle these first, and then we'll kind of see what story wants to come through. Oh, that one wanted to. So that one is the Pilgrim with growth, opportunities. We have the Tailor with attention to detail and pride. Let me show you those. And then we got Twins. The Twins with self-protection and dual natures. And you know what? I think my dog got himself locked in the other room, so hold up. Okay, so when I was kind of looking at the cards, I got a message, because I kind of even said, like, this is a reading of like almost like when worlds collide, when the country and the city kind of come together. And so that's what I'm seeing with, how did I see them connect? I saw when worlds collide, so Cold One stood out with the blue ribbon, and then this one, sorry, now I gotta let Cooper out. Okay, I have no clue where I was at, but so far I saw we have the country, we have the city coming together, and by bringing them both together, it also kind of showed it as consciousness. So there's this Diamondback Rattler, and I saw that more as like the primordial part of the brain, or like the reptilian part of our brain that like just runs on autopilot. The part of us that doesn't need to think, the part of us that just exists, right? We don't need to think how to breathe. We just breathe. So that's the energy I'm kind of picking up with the countryside, which is important. And then I kind of saw the city as the city keeps growing and changing and evolving, right? Technology, things like that, road support systems, whatnot. And so I saw it as things expanding outside of ourselves, but things within us expanding as well. Consciousness, right? So that Diamondback Reptilian Rattler is the not having to think, like almost subconscious, deep, dark parts of us. The parts that are kind of in the waters, in the deep, murky waters. And so that's what I saw with that. And then I saw the other consciousness kind of coming, but that consciousness can't kind of come and intertwine until the two meet. So before I got cut off for the second time, I was trying to tell you about the blue ribbon and the tailor. And so what do tailors do is they like cut material, right? And so I saw like cutting the ribbon as like a celebration ceremony. So normally this tailor would be working on like suits, trimming things, that kind of thing. And so I see a grand opening when the two worlds meet each other. So belonging and belief in sanctuary is what Cold One stands for. It's card number 37. Yeah, it's like you have your beer at the end of the day. It's like a celebration. And so that's what I'm seeing with the cut the cord, or now that big ribbon, like cutting the ribbon. When these two worlds kind of come, that's when this twin energy is activated. One possesses knowledge and like instinct. I'm seeing that more as like the West. Whereas on this citadel kind of one, there's different, I'm seeing that there's different characters step up to the plate. The city one has more records. It seems like knowledge in school and records and those kind of things are very important. And because they have taken word and learned to put it into writing and keep these records, they're able to kind of build and grow and expand on that. So it seems like really solid foundations with the skyscrapers, things like that. And then I see more of the West, the country, being more of the instinct and survival, and your body just knowing what to do in a dangerous situation. When you do kind of come up with this Diamondback Rattler, I see you having success and victory over it. But I see the two suffering while being separated. It needs to bring both of these consciousnesses together. And then with that is this pilgrimage. So this was the first card to come out. It's all a pilgrimage because everything is kind of separated. These are both like black and white cards. They both have so much fine, intricate detail once you get up close. But from far away, it's just colors and lines until the lines start to blur. And then you start to add the shadowing and things like that. And then you get the depth. But I see the two coming together, and that's the pilgrimage that needs to unfold. So the pilgrim is all about opportunities and growth, which is what was just said. So let's pull a couple more cards just to expand this situation. Because yes, I see both coming together, but why are they coming together? What's the whole purpose of this? I'm seeing it more so as skills, and I'm seeing like when it comes to the city, being more blue collar people, where it talked about databases and storing things and stuff being important. I'm seeing the city alive, but it's all the workers, right? It's all everyone going to work that I see their lights are on. And taking that, right, we have the tailor tailoring suits and garments. I wonder why suits seems to be the main thing that keeps coming, right? Could have said dresses, could have said anything. Okay, so I saw, okay, finally. I was like, I don't know when these two kind of come together, but it does start to come when, okay, where do I start? So we have grit. So I just pulled out cards. This one is the main one that I just kept pulling out cards that didn't make any sense into me until this one. So I'll show you the cards as I saw them until that one. So we have grit. And on that, looks like two bulls fighting. It says capability amid instability and crisis. Then with that, there's sacred heart in reverse, followed by saloon in reverse. Purity of the heart, intentions, and highest desires. Escapism, good times, and a hideout. So now that I've actually like sat and read these cards, I find it interesting that the cold one and the saloon are opposite, right? This is a celebration, and this one's saying escapism, something like that. So when I pulled the Citadel cards, the ones that I got out were Founder. And this is the one that I got no insights until I actually started reading to you with this. But once I saw the Founder, that started the blending. So I see the city growing and expanding, right? They keep learning from their past mistakes and new buildings keep getting built. And that's what I saw. I saw like needing to expand. And so I saw people wanting to either expand up to the outskirts or start something completely new somewhere else. And so with that's that city kind of meeting the country mentality, and needing to blend those two. And so once those two kind of came, like there's Founder, there's these two little moles working. The two kind of represents the twins here. And so the next one to come out was Warrior. So I saw Warrior as two things. Initially, when I pulled it, I saw it as land and people being like, I want that land, and coming and like taking it and like pushing themselves into there and being like, we own this now. And the previous people being like hell you do. That's the first instinct that I picked up. But once I kind of started talking through the story, right, reading about this Sacred Heart and these gifts, the saloon being in reverse, the Founder, I'm seeing them. I said one thing and that thing's gone now. Had to do with the Founder expanding. I just see things growing too fast. Things have gone too fast in the city, and it seems like over in the city type area, it works for itself and those people and the mentality. But it's gone to the point where things can't grow or expand anymore. And so again, it's now intertwining with this other one. And this could be like a physical thing that's like actually talking about some place on earth about a city growing too much. But what I really pick up on this, because it's lighting your sunshine, this is all about consciousness. This is all about people who grew up in different situations and settings and learning to take their knowledge and blend it with another. The city people, with the records and all those things, right? To them, it seemed like written word was very important. So they know how to blend the information of the survival instincts that the outlaw energy kind of learned, and really bring in a new consciousness, right? We don't want to live just only in this Diamondback Rattler energy. As it said, it was about speed and primal power. Primal power is all about like trying to exert force. It's like this. Look at this heat wave. It's that one sad, lonely tree sitting in the field being like, I'm determined to embrace this warrior energy. This warrior energy is all about perfectionism and burnout. Ooh, I didn't read that before. But perfectionism and burnout. That's what I see is like you thinking that what you do. So I'm almost getting like the city, and it's like we have rules and standards and things, right? On the other side, it's a bit wild. It's a little bit more chaos. And you need to learn to embrace the chaos to kind of thrive through that, to find the duality of things. But I do see someone, right, this Taylor energy. They sit there and they've worked at their craft and their skill, and they know how to pull things in and manipulate the material to be a perfect fit. So I feel like they deal with the perfectionism. It's like, this is how I do things. This is how it's been done. With repetition and over and over and over, it's now memory. It's muscle memory. I don't have to think. And we do need to think, right? We want to bring that consciousness. We want to tap into the frontal cortex, they're saying. Yeah. there's a little bit more to do with the brain and that. Okay, so I was doing a reading, and this is what I was like talking about. I'm like, I'm in the middle of all these downloads and insights, but there was a reading I recorded and I didn't release it yet. But I had like this like activation, and I felt it in my brain, and it just like was this one spot, and like it's still there. I feel like, yeah. And that's what I'm seeing. They keep trying to blend different personalities, blend different perspectives or consciousnesses together. I keep the consciousnesses is okay. So what I'm finding with this pilgrimage, when you look at the light within the lantern, there's a little circle there, and that's that glow. That's that glow that kind of like pushes you to keep seeking. Where's that spark, that reflection, that thing that will kind of like light and ignite? So that's that inner calling that pulls you to it. And then I've noticed on the founder, which is all about foundations and community, right above the castle, there's this wonderful glowing sun. And then the next card that also represents them is the twins here. We've got the moon and the sun. So this one, I'm being drawn to like the hollow part. And it's like the hollow part, because it's hollow, it could be filled up. And I think that's why it's like we need these diverse perspectives, these dual natures, because like something that's already full, if it's already energetically full, if there's everything already in there, you can't fit more in. And so that's what I see, like the phases of the moon kind of coming in with this warrior. There's something to do with like compass and direction, protection. And I feel like that's what the moon is doing within its cycles, is like letting things go, letting things shed. So with the shedding, it's bringing it back to that snake or that reptilian brain, right? There's things that we just let go of because we've already been through that energy. We've already worked through the lesson of that, and it's just restricting us now. So it's time to let go. So that's what I feel like the chaos energy, right? In this survival West outlaw energy, there's a little bit of like no rule, whereas the other one has all the rules, and the rules are like written down and you follow the rules. So one's all about perfectionism, whereas the other one's all about embracing the chaos and just being your authentic badass self. I'm being drawn to this crystal all of a sudden. I don't know, let's just hold it. All right, so that's what I'm seeing. It's like something within the city, right? They kept going to the limits. There's something that's to the limit. And normally, it just kept building because we kept recording and hearing history repeats itself. And so they haven't quite figured out what it is to get to that next loop or that next jump. I'm hearing quantum jump. And it's the perfectionism. So in order to kind of break free of that one loop that you can, it's almost like a glass ceiling. It's like trying to bust through that glass ceiling. You've been at the ceiling for so long in these high towers, but you can't really break through it. And the only thing that's going to break through it is this chaos energy. So once the two kind of meet each other, once you kind of embrace a little bit of the wild side, a little bit of, when I say chaos, it sounds scary, but it's just no plan. It's just going with the flow and letting nature unfold the way that it wants to. Let source lead you and let it bring you all the surprises and all the details that it wants to unfold in its time. So I feel like the other one's trying to contain time, and the other one's like, you just gotta embrace time. So to actually learn to enjoy the chaos and the ride is kind of the part that adds that extra oomph or that extra momentum. That fire. So when I look at the warrior here, it says perfectionism and burnout. And so with this founder, with foundations and community, this foundation will be really great when it steps into this twin dual energy, because it's all about self-protection and dual natures. And so when you're protected, you have this shield from burnout. It is adding a little bit more of a tempered energy to it. And I feel like with that, right, hot and cold, it kind of puts it through, it's like a stress test, puts it through the stress test a little bit quicker. And by finding those faults and those cracks, it now strengthens it. So if you had just been perfect the whole time and you never actually had the stress and those things put on you, the chaos of time, and who knows, you wouldn't have this really safe, solid shield. And that solid shield wouldn't make you feel protected as you're working on your foundation. So I'm seeing a little bit of outlaw, meaning a little bit of civilized something, you know? And so, yeah, once you embrace that self-preservation, you realize you can embrace this other areas. And that makes you bring a sense of belonging and sanctuary. And so now that you have this sanctuary, it makes you not want to escape things. Because before, I feel like chaos or something, or wonderment, whatever, it's just change. Change and chaos are the same. And you'd want to escape from it, right? The saloon is escapism, good times, and a hideout. But you're not really hiding out, because you're not being oppressed. There's not just that one part that's all about the reptilian and the survival brain of this. You've tapped into your heart and your intuition. And so it brings purity and intention and brings your highest desires. Now that you have these highest desires, right, you've got the flame of your heart plus the learning from the past, right? The recording the past down, tweaking, learning from your mistakes. Now you got that fire in your heart. You got that wildness, that little bit of outlaw oomph, chaos, change. Blending those two energies together gives you that extra oomph. As I said, highest desire. Now you can finally break that glass ceiling. Now you can break out of that one cycle that you seem to be stuck in over and over and over and over. And so I'm getting that someone is thinking that the more and more that they embrace this chaos energy, that's dark. And it's being viewed wrong, right? This Diamondback Rattler is all about primal power. First initial reaction when you look at this, it could be something fearful, right? It could be because it's out of our known. That's what I see. I see like reptiles kind of being in this consciousness, right? They're not going to act unless kind of threatened or provoked. But they're quick. They're very quick at it. And so I think that's where a lot of fear comes from, is just like how quick this movement is. And it could be a sense of danger if we aren't quite aware of it. And I think that's kind of what like chaos or change, right? Something kind of comes along. We have plans and it breaks our plans, right? All of a sudden, last minute, there's cancellations and changes, and you have to go with the flow, and you have to learn to keep cool, or else you're going to be so tense that when you do walk past maybe this Diamondback Rattler, it's going to pick up on your energy, and it's going to like strike before it's struck, right? So with that, we have this grit. What about the grit? It's the two cows. There's a light and a dark one. And all that's just kind of talking is like the outlaw Western energy and they keep saying civilized city energy. But I feel like civilized isn't quite, it's a word, but it's not the right word, because I feel like some people would be like that and be like, well, I'm better than them because I'm civilized. And it's not quite the correct word to choose. But I don't really know what other thing they're kind of showing other than it's mostly to do with knowledge, books, and how they've written it down, and shared that information on to like the next generation, and how it kind of keeps growing and growing on top of that. So that's whatever the word, it's something to do with that. And I keep seeing expanding. And so because they keep passing on that information, the next generation kind of thrives bigger. And so the city keeps growing and growing and growing. And so to take these two energies together, they're going to butt heads when they first kind of lock. And that's, again, consciousness is... I don't know why I keep saying it like that, but that's just what I say. And it's annoying me. I'm annoying myself. And I feel like that's kind of what it is. It's like these two parts to you. There's like the side that is so organized, and then the side that's like wild, coming together and learning. You're like, normally on this one, I can let this one free reign, but it's like learning to get those two to balance together. As it says, capability and instability. It's learning that usually you use this thought process in this instance, but what if I could take this thought process and apply it to this now and blend the two, merge the two? Add attention to detail. That's like that tailoring. It's like, well, I'm seeing you be smart at the documentation and heart-centered when you're out there thriving and not just surviving, but now taking those two abilities, as this one said, attention to detail and pride, and just tweaking things a bit. I think your attention to detail is like spot on, and intuitively you instinctively move and do what you need to do. So it's having a little bit more trust in your abilities. I feel like you're so vastly pro at like these two different areas, and now feeling a little insecure that you can apply this one over here. I feel like you're like, I could try it, like, should I? And it's just like, that's not gonna work. But for some reason, it's going to work. It's the heart, and I'm hearing tenacity behind it, and it's your execution, they say. So like, I'm not getting that this is a fake it till you make it energy, but it kind of is. It's like you're not going to fake it, because nothing about this is fake. This is you not feeling confident in applying your one skill set that you know that is your gift to share. Taking that skill set and applying it to a different area of life. So they're almost like showing, like, because this is a fairly spiritual channel, it's almost like how you're spiritual in life, but then maybe you have like a super business corporate job, and like, how can those two blend? Something like that. It's like two worlds blending together in your life is what this is showing. At the end of the day, maybe it might not even be blending anything. It's just the two consciousness, and how can you reach for higher elevated thoughts to break cycles and loops that you've been fairly successful at. That's what I'm getting. It's like it just hasn't been, I'm hearing it hasn't been like the roller coaster ride like you were hoping for, and that's because you kind of need the lows with the highs. And I feel like the highs that you kind of get, it's almost like middle. It's just like this. And so there's no excitement, no butterflies, no learning, right? You're not learning from your mistakes because it's this that perfectionism, and there's no growth within that. So the last card to wrap this all up is the Pilgrim, which is all about new opportunities and growth. Once you kind of blend those two sides of you, those two completely opposite, uniquely conscious parts of you, it's gonna be scary, it's gonna be nervous, but it's gonna flow so nicely because the two do blend together marvelously. I'm seeing depth and shading, and I'm seeing a painting come to life. And that's what the two diverse areas do. And so whatever it is that you've been trying to get through, I see you busting through that glass ceiling finally. And so congratulations, you finally are on to that next chapter of growth and opportunity. Enjoy this pilgrimage as you build a new foundation where both parts of you thrive, where both parts are as important and unique and special. So we'll leave it there. Have a good day, and we'll see you next time. Bye, guys.